Hello and welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. We're going to pan roast some duck breasts. I also have a duck carcass from another video I did where I did confit of duck. I'm going to turn that carcass into a delightful duck jus. So let's crack on with this. I'm just drying off the breasts. They've been in the fridge for a little while, they've picked up a bit of condensation. Get that off. On the underside there's a bit of silver skin there. Membrane, it's a bit tough. It won't ruin the duck, but when you cook it, it might curl a bit, and also it'll be a little bit chewy on the underside. So if you can do this, a thin knife, just get it underneath that, angle the knife slightly upwards so you don't cut into the flesh, and just take off as much as you dare to do. Don't start chopping away loads of the actual duck flesh, you'll regret that. But there you go, I'm pretty happy with that. Got off some of it, that will eat a lot more nicely. Score the skin, just barely cut the skin. Please don't go all the way through and cut the meat itself. But this again, this adds presentation for the finished product, but it also allows you to get a bit of seasoning into it, and it helps render out the duck fat more importantly. The cross hatch, the crisscross is not absolutely necessary. You can just go one direction and it will be fine. But I think it looks nice. Anyway, second breast done. A good amount of salt and pepper. The herbs and garlic you see there is going to pop in the pan when I pan roast these. I think it looks nice in the pan and it adds a little bit of flavour. I'm not sure how much, to be honest with you, but it helps a bit. I would salt and pepper these duck breasts a few minutes before you cook. Give it a chance to actually penetrate a little bit. Now, what's going on, I hear you ask? That is a cold pan and there is no fat in it. Trust me on this one. Put this on a low to medium heat. Bring it up slowly. You will render out much more of the fat. We're going to speed this up because it just looks great. The longer and the slower you cook on the skin, the more fat you will render out of it, and the skin will actually then become delicious to eat. I'm just checking for the colour, not enough yet. I'm going to say these are just really on a fairly low heat. There you go, lovely, beautiful. When you eat that skin it will be crunchy and crispy, not at all chewy. I'm only giving them about a minute or so on that side, it's just to seal the bottom. These now going in the oven, skin side down. These are medium-sized breasts. I gave them 4 minutes. Larger ones, give them 5 minutes. It depends also how you want them cooked. I like my duck breast pink, but I don't like it rare. I'm happy with that. The key bit of importance when you are roasting, pan roasting meat, steaks included, is give them a chance to rest. Don't be obsessed about eating piping hot meat. It's not necessary. So that's a warm place there above the cooker. I'm just going to let them rest for 5 minutes or so, just covered lightly with some tinfoil. Now what we're doing here, we're going back in time, and I'm showing you how I made the sauce. Obviously you would have this done way in advance. This is a carcass. I'm speeding this up because it takes a while. But basically, just smash it all up. You could do this with a chicken carcass as well. It would be nice, it just wouldn't be quite the same flavour. But I want to get these bits small. It's quite important because I want to get as much surface area browned as possible. So, here we have a roasting tray, a selection of mirepoix vegetables. There's carrot, celery and onion and garlic. I've got some hardy herbs, like rosemary, thyme, bay leaf, parsley I believe I've got in there. Give that a good toss around. That's going to go in a hot oven until it's brown. Into a pan. The bits of vegetables left in a roasting tray is not going to go to waste. I'm going to put some water in that on the stove and we'll get all those bits off because that's all flavour. I put the majority of a bottle of okay to drink red wine Not expensive, please don't waste money on expensive wine for cooking. That's about a tablespoon of tomato puree. There you go, just scrape off all the bits. It's all flavour. And you want to give this plenty of time. I've put there at least 2 hours. You can keep topping it up with water as it reduces. That's all it's losing is water. Concentrate the flavour. I've got a 2-sieve passing method. I've got a conical strainer and a fine mesh sieve. Sorry, get my teeth in. Just makes it a bit easier to pass it all through. That conical strainer there is a bit hardier, so I can really squish all the bits. I'm not going to break it. There you go. You can see how much extra stuff was in there after it's gone through the holes of the conical strainer. Got to reduce this. That is a bit too thin. But near the end, some red currant jelly, that adds a bit of body to it. You don't have to do this. I think it adds a bit of richness and body. If you're worried that it tastes a bit too sweet after that, you can add a drop of lemon juice or even a bit of balsamic vinegar. Now we're getting there. I'd say we're almost there. Got to have a bit of butter to make it better. But what's that? That's called Monte au beurre. Basically, it adds a lovely, rich shine to your sauce and it thickens it ever so slightly. I'm going to go once more through the fine mesh into my saucepan. So you have to imagine, obviously that was done way before the duck was done. Just to show you the consistency. For me, that's perfect. If you want it a bit thicker, you can reduce it a bit further, or you could use some corn flour, and I won't tell anyone if you use a bit of gravy granules. Okay, just between you and me. Rested duck. You can see the blood and the juices that have come out of it onto the plate. That's why people don't like pink meat in restaurants. But if it's rested properly, then that blood will be on the resting tray, not on your plate. And I think you'll enjoy the meat a lot more pink that way without any blood on the plate. Don't throw those juices away though, pop them in the sauce. I don't like to cut duck too thin, so I'm just going to cut this a few times, sort of at least an inch thick, maybe 1 inch to 2 inches thickness. I find it just cools down too quickly. There we go. I'm not going to get any prizes for my presentation here, but I just really wanted to show you the colour of the flesh, but it's not leaking any blood anywhere. It's absolutely delicious. And you can see how rich and shiny the sauce is. That is perfect with whatever vegetables you like. There you go. Pan roasted duck breast with a duck jus. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be coming really soon. Bye.